Alright, well, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner. Classics slash non-classics. This is episode number 311 and Doubleshot number 241. 9 more to go to that 250th Doubleshot. Okay? First one is a really big, heavy book. Ooh. It is Final Crisis. Well, the trade Final Crisis. This contains the whole 7-issue miniseries of Final Crisis. Final Crisis Superman Beyond 1 and 2, which was a 3D thing. Final Crisis Submit number 1. And Final Crisis Sketchbook. Now, this event only happened like 7 years ago, so it's not that big a long period of time, but it's kind of long. And pretty much some people do know what happens in this particular story. A lot of people remember this. I wasn't reading DC Comics at this point. I started reading DC Comics like, see, this event came out, it started in 2000, ended in 2009. So I started reading DC Comics a year after this event came out. Now, pretty much some people don't like this event because it's a bit too gruesome, or it's a bit slow, or I'm not sure what the complaints are for this particular one. It's not a terrible thing. I mean, if you read every issue, it feels like a really well-told story, and it has a good focus on the villains, kind of like how Forever Evil did in 2013, which came out exactly 4 years after this particular thing did. Now, the main series is written by Grant Morrison. Now, there was a weekly series that was supposed to lead into this, but guess what? Grant Morrison ignored that series because Countdown Final Crisis was terrible. I mean, it's 51 issues, numbering backwards. Now, it had good writing in some of the stories, but one of its biggest flaws was the fact that there was no edit. There was no the editor. The thing with that miniseries is that the editors were definitely not doing their job, but they're supposed to keep the continuity in check. Yeah, continuity was all over the place when it came to that series, and the artwork a lot of time was really good and was inconsistent every issue. I mean, its biggest problem was the fact it had 51 artists instead of having 4 or 5. Why 51? I don't know. It's very and stuff was inconsistent, and the editor was basically now Dan Didio was pushing that series because apparently he hated the weekly series 52. I recently have read 52, and I agree with a lot of people. It's an awesome series. Countdown is horrible. It's considered it actually made on my top 10 worst stories of the last 20 years. Yeah, it was that horrible. It's supposed to lead to this big thing, this big series. Now the main series is written by Grant Morrison. Deals with the gods dying. Now there is a couple other things in here. There is Superman Beyond, which is I think written by Grant Morrison, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is. Let me check and see about this. I think Grant Morrison writes this whole thing. I'm not really sure. Superman Beyond, which was originally released as a 3D comic, it's just basically Superman. Yeah, it's written by Grant Morrison. It's just a 2-issue little miniseries that was released along with the main series. Just figure out what Superman was up to during the actual event. That's really the whole point of this miniseries. Submit, which features a team up between Black Lightning and it's Black Lightning, because Black Lightning's in the book. Matter of fact, if you look on DC Wicca, if you look up Black Lightning, this is the cover that they put on there for him. I believe this one, it's teamed between Black Lightning and a new character called the Tattoo Man. Trying to find out, and they're all around for one of these group of people called the Justifiers, which are these guys right here. They're like the grunts of this whole crossover. But here's something weird about these guys. They're brainwashed soldiers. I'm not kidding. They're brainwashed soldiers. Okay, Grant Morrison wrote this too. Now, I've also read the other tie-ins that they had for this thing. Now, I've read, as of recently, I have read every single thing related to Final Crisis. Sorry about that. Basically, not only the main series, but also its tie-in stuff, even the stuff that came after Final Crisis. I mean, this led into stuff that relates to Batman and stuff for the Justice League, and a little bit. It also has some partial lead into quite possibly one of the worst series ever made, Justice League: Cry for Justice, which I know that series has since been undone, thanks to thanks to a particular series known as thanks to something called New 52, it undid it, which, as far as I know, as revealed in the Batman and Robin series toward the very end, this series is partially canon with the current continuity. Partially canon, mainly due to what you see here on the cover. Basically, yeah, this did happen to Batman. He was turned into a skeleton by Darkseid. This did happen. Yeah, Peter J. Tomasi brought that into canon. Now, the tie-in miniseries were Legion 3 Worlds, which was a series written by the awesome Jeff Johns, a real good series. I know I'm kind of like reviewing, even though I'm supposed to be reviewing this, so I just want to bring up the other stuff that came along with it. That came along with Final Crisis. Yep. It's also Rage the Red Lanterns. I think it's supposed to be the first appearance of Red Lanterns. I'm not really sure, but it's just a one-shot for them. Requiem is supposed to be... Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the origin story of Libra, how he got his current appearance. Resist. Actually, Requiem is not that. Requiem is actually the funeral for Martian Manhunter. That's really what it is. It's kind of like Civil War II: The Fallen, which deals with the aftermath of of Bruce Banner's death. This issue pretty much did the same thing. Let's see. There's one of these that do this. In the series Revelations, that was a series written by the awesome Greg Rucka. It features between the Spectre and the Question which who's Raymond and between this point, and they're battling supernatural stuff in Gotham City. That's pretty much what they were up to in this whole thing. Rogue's Revenge, another Jeff Johns series, dealt with the Rogues basically just basically what they were up to during Final Crisis, and during the series they kill off Dr. Light himself dies in the first issue. Actually, Secret Files is the one that actually is the origin story of Libra. That's simply what it is. And then the stuff that came afterwards. Final Crisis Run featured... There's this really dumb character, and I'm like, yeah, this guy is not interesting at all. But the character, the Human Flame, I'm going to bring him up here. It is this guy right here. This guy gets his own mini-series dedicated to him. Yeah, this guy here. Apparently, he's supposed to be an old enemy of Martian Manhunter, but I have never heard of this guy. Nope. Apparently, he's supposed to be. Yeah, and this guy was invited to join Sacred Side of Supervillains. So, basically, the Human Flame is a D-lister. I'm not kidding, and he's invited to the table with these guys. The other Afterlife miniseries, you have Dance, which features a Super Young team, which are featured in here. Tattoo Man, like I mentioned. Escape features Nemesis from, who recently appeared in, I'm trying to think, what was the name of that series? It was, oh yeah, it appeared in Wonder Woman, 2 volumes before the current one. Flash Rebirth, Battle for the Cow. And of course the ending of this does lead into it leads set up for Batman: The Return of Bruce Wayne, which is an awesome miniseries. I reviewed that a couple episodes ago, but this kind of let credence to basically, yeah, the readers knew that Batman was alive because Grant Morrison, who had written Batman for a few years at this point, I think everybody knew that he was not going to kill off Batman. He just basically assumed have it in continuity where he was dead for 2 years, and then he came back in a very awesome way. Now, I don't get what people's problem with this series is. It's a well-written series, and even though it's dark, and one of the best things about this series, and one thing I think a lot of people like about this series, is the fact you see the return of Barry Allen, who at this point had been dead for 22 years. Yeah, the guy had been dead for 22 years, and this series brought him back. Thank you, Grant Morrison, for bringing him back. Not Jeff Johns brought him back. He brought him back. So, because of the fact I enjoy this, and it took a while to read this dang thing, so I'm going to give this book a 9 out of 10. But I don't get what people's problem with this series. It's not terrible, per se. No, it's not. It's actually a pretty good series. Okay. Next up is a Deadpool trade. Yep. Deadpool Flashbacks, written by Gary Duggan and Brian Pusa. I think that's how you pronounce the guy's name. And this is from Deadpool Volume 3. That's the previous volume. It pretty much features all chronological of his when he was traveling through time. It has every single issue done in order. Now, I'm not going to list off in order what they do in the trade, but the issues in here from Deadpool Volume 3, Issue 7, 13, 20, 26, 34, 40, 45, and material from issue 27. This is a lot of really fun stuff. And plus, it also has sort of a partial setup for the original sin tie-in for Deadpool, which he finds out his daughter Ellie is still alive. Yeah, basically, you could thank Gary Duggan for giving Deadpool a daughter. And in the next episode, I'll talk about what else he gives him. Yep. This is fun. Really fun. 9.5 out of 10. Awesome in its finest. I don't want to talk about too much of this. I mean, I can show off the artwork for this dang thing. Yeah, I mean, it's different every issue, but yeah, this is just good. I just wanted to talk about this briefly because I talked a lot about the Final Crisis stuff, but I won't talk about this briefly, but yeah. But this is just pure fun. Yeah, Deadpool fun. That's one word to describe for this, just pure fun. Yeah, he goes back and forth, meets up with Cable. Yeah, he does meet up with Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Yeah, he does meet with these two back in the 70s. And it also kind of basically shows how Deadpool conceived his daughter. Well, not graphically, of course, but yeah, it's heavily implied, basically shown off panel how it happened. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10. Awesome. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be episode 312 and Doubleshot number 242. Okay? Until then, see you there.